Hey guys, this is Jose Vazquez with another episode of Baseball Strong, and today I got a special guest for you guys. A man that needs no introduction. He's been in the game forever. One of my favorite managers. We had a really good time during his run with the Rangers. Uh, my friend Ron Washington. Ron or Wash, say hello, man.
I'm doing very well. Thanks for having me on, Jose.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. You know, like baseball, it's a family. It's a thing that you meet really good people along the way, and they make a difference in your life. And you know, Wash, you were always one of those guys that I enjoyed being around you because you always kept it loose, and our staff dinners were legendary. You know what I mean? Like the stories and the jokes, man. And to this day, I probably mentioned many of your quotes to my kids, to people I work
Mm.
with, especially the one, that's the way baseball go. When my kids get hurt, when they strike out, when they don't play well, hey, that's the way baseball
That's
go.
the way baseball goes. That's
And
right.
yeah, and so I mean, you know, I hold you in high regard. You've always been one of my favorites, man, and I always keep up with you. I knew you had some health issues last year as I was calling out and wondering what was happening, checking on you. So I'm glad you're okay. So glad to have you on the show.
I'm glad to be Jose, and I had what they call a quadruple bypass. And believe it or not, the only thing I was concerned about was how long it would be before I can start rehabbing. That's the one thing I would ask the doctors
Hmm.
once I was able to recognize where I was and what I was doing. How long before I start rehabbing?
Yeah.
Here I am all taped up, then lost a ton of weight.
Hmm.
Really don't know what the future is going to hold because I don't know, how my body and everything is going to react. But I did understand one thing, that my mind was stronger than the matter. And that's all that matters is your mind. If your mind is stronger than what you're trying to do, you'll get through it, even through difficulty.
That's right. That's right. Now, you always a great example of that. I know you overcame a lot. So I'm glad to have you on the show. But before we start, I want to give a shout out. This podcast is brought to you by Eclipse Strength and Recovery. That is our physical therapy brand of Baseball Strong. So please check us out on Facebook and Instagram. This message is for high performers who refuse to decline. You're used to performance, discipline, results, but lately you've lost a step. You've likely tried traditional physical therapy, limited visits, standardized care, insurance driven care. This model wasn't built for you. If you're looking for results, you want one on one care for elite performance without limits. This is different. We work with high functioning individuals who expect more out of their health. People who are willing to invest in their health and their performance. For elite performance without limits, this is Jose Vazquez for Baseball Strong at Eclipse Sports and Rehabilitation in Waxahachie, Texas. All right, Wash. So, one of the things that I'm trying to do with the Baseball Strong podcast is to share baseball stories. I
Mm-hmm.
think that anyone that is interested in becoming a better baseball player, one of the things that I always encourage young players, aside from working out and doing all that stuff, talk to people that have been there, done that. Because a lot of the people that are on TV, people that have been in the major leagues for a long time, whether it's a player, manager, coach, there's a long story behind that success. Many people today want to be where you're at, want to be where people are at, but they don't know what it takes to or what it took to get there. And so one of the things that I want to share with the listeners is, you know, growing up, I'm trying to everybody I bring in, I want to take them back to their childhood. I want to go back and get them to tell us, you know, how you fell in love with baseball, some of your experiences as a young baseball player, some of your experiences. And so Wash, take us back to when you were a little kid, as far back as you can remember. You know, when you first fell in love with baseball.
Well, I first fell in love with baseball. My dad came home from work one afternoon and he brought a baseball glove. And I mean, at the time, I'm from a family of 10, and you just didn't see those kind of things into your get into your home
Mm-hmm.
without somebody offering it or whatever. But my dad brought one home. I never asked him where he got it from. And I was a very athletic kid anyway. I loved to stay outside. Wake up in the morning when the sun shine, I was outside. Didn't come back home till the sun was down and it was time to eat. But I fell in love with baseball because of the baseball glove my dad brought home. Now, during the day, we played all kind of sports in the project because I grew up in the projects. But for some reason, baseball seemed to be my niche
Mm-hmm.
because I can do the things very well. I could catch the ball, I could throw the ball, I could hit the ball. I had good eye-hand coordination as a youngster. I remember that, and I was above the kids I played with. When I first remember playing little league baseball, I was 11 years old. I was too good for the 11-year-olds, so I ended up playing 13-year-old ball. I ended up playing 13-year-old ball for 2 years. And then when I became 13, I was too good for them. I ended up playing 15-year-old ball for 2 years. So that's the way my situation went when I was a youngster. I don't know, you could say I was God blessed. And I could see things that maybe other guys couldn't see. And I was blessed in that regard too. But that only happened in baseball. I
Mm-hmm.
played football, I played basketball, I ran track, I did all of that, but I only had that vision in baseball, so I knew baseball was mine, and that's what I did. And when I graduated out of high school, Jose, I went to what they call a baseball academy.
Okay.
I went to a trial camp, and Kansas City went around the country recruiting baseball players. And when they came to New Orleans, I went to the trial camp,
Mm-hmm.
and I was signed out of that trial camp. And I just happened to go to a baseball school where we learned baseball on a chalkboard
Mm-hmm.
and then took it to the field. And all of that was ingrained in me when I became a player, when I became a coach, and when I became a manager. The things that are necessary to make sure that you can be consistent. And the things that are necessary to make sure that you can be consistent has always been work and maintenance.
Mm-hmm.
Now, work is everything you go out there and do that pertains to the skill set or the sport that you're playing. And the maintenance is to make sure that you go to work to make sure that everything stays consistent.
Mm-hmm.
And if you any sport you play in, all they talk about is consistency.
Yep.
So you if you put in the work and you do the maintenance, you should gather the consistency that you need.
Mm-hmm.
And through that consistency, you become experienced
Mm-hmm.
because you in baseball it's about repetition, repetition, repeating, 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 and adjusting, adjusting, and adjusting. And it never stops. And the time in your life when it stops, then you need to do something else.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You mentioned something about obviously consistency, but the way that you grew up in the game and like especially pro ball, it seemed like it was a system. It was an academy. It was structured. Um, you know, one of the things that I try to communicate to kids today is that in order to be consistent, there has to be some structure, and sometimes perhaps there's not that kind of structure like maybe you had, but um, when it comes to being consistent, I think it's also a mindset. You got to have that mind that when I go to bed tonight, what am I going to do tomorrow to get better? Let's speak a little bit about that, just because I know that even if you have structure, you still have to have that inner conversation, either that inner self talk. That's all right. What am I doing tomorrow, the next day, and the next day?
Well, the strongest thing you have in your body is your mind. You could either wake up in the morning feeling good, or you can wake up in the morning with a bad attitude. You control that. And you want to try to control the best part of your attitude
Mm-hmm.
every single day. Because you're a human being, thoughts is going to enter into your mind
Mm-hmm.
that you have to make a choice
Mm-hmm.
of every day. Every day we wake up and every day we interact with the world out here, we have choices. Sometimes you make good choices, sometimes you make bad choices. But if you made the choice, you deal with the consequences. And if you can deal with the consequences, not that you did what you did planning to deal with consequences, but sometimes we do things without thinking, and there are consequences. And sometimes the consequences don't come to fruition until it's too late.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But if you realize that your mindset is strong, you made the choice, so you deal with the consequences and you go through the battle of what the consequences are putting on you.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll find out that your mind is the strongest thing that you have inside of your body. And again, you control it. It doesn't control you. And that doesn't mean that because you control it, everything is going to be well.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's not what it means. What it means is you are aware. And as long as you're aware and as long as you have choices, then everything should be going in the direction that you needed to go in. And that's life.
Mm-hmm.
And that can be equated into sports. It really can. I went into a baseball academy. I had no idea the first time I left home. I was 16 years old, and I went to a baseball academy, and there was situations where there were guys that played way more baseball or had involved in athletic sports way more than I had done from the little town I came from, which is New Orleans. I know people know New Orleans, but there wasn't a whole lot going on in New Orleans in my time
Mm-hmm.
because there was a lot of racism still happening.
Mm-hmm.
And if it wasn't for that baseball camp, Jose, I don't know if I would be sitting here talking to you trying to explain what my life has been like.
Mm-hmm.
But it was that baseball camp that I went to, and then the baseball school that I went to. And I do believe there's baseball gods.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe somebody looked over me and gave me this opportunity because where I was from, opportunity wasn't like walking outside of your house and there's opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
No. You had to end up being in the right place at the right time. And I do think I was put in the right place at the right time. And sometimes that's a choice, as I always say.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody got that choice, whether you realize it or not. The people that you hang out with or you surround yourself with, you have to understand, will they help me to move forward or will they help me to move backwards? Again, there's a choice.
Yep.
And you got to make the choice of which way you want to go. And sometimes you have to leave people behind for you to move forward.
Yep.
Because they're not going in the same direction you're going in. That don't mean they're not a friend.
Mm-hmm.
It could be a friend.
Yeah.
But we're not of the same mindset.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. So a couple of things you said I want to highlight for the kids. So number one, awareness. So every action or inaction is going to have a consequence. So if you get up in the morning and you go work out, there's going to be a result from that. There's going to be consequences. There's going to be some you're going to get something out of that. But if you stay in bed and do nothing, you're going to get consequences from that too. And one of the things that kid needs to understand is like whether you do or don't, you're going to get something out of it. And so it's your choice to see whether you want to get better or not. I mean, that's just the way it is. You have to have that mindset that whatever I do is going to have a consequence. And so when I get somewhere, then I should be able to say, you know what, I got here because I put in this much time, effort, and so on. But if you don't get here and you look back and you're like, well, yeah, I remember all those missed workouts, or I remember I could have gone and played that weekend, or I could have done something, there's consequences. So having that awareness,
That's having that awareness, and that awareness equates to experience.
Yes.
And there's no substitute for experience. And now young kids might think experience is always on the positive side.
Mm-hmm.
Experiences happens on both sides, both positive and both negative. But whichever way it happens, guess what you do? You get education from it.
Yes.
You learn what to do and you learn what not to do. And that's what life is broken down into, right and wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It's broken down into right and wrong. And just because something happened wrong doesn't mean that you've got a piece of your life taken from you. No, you've got an education. Now is how you use that education to move forward. That education may equate to you helping somebody else. It may not be helping yourself. It equate to you helping someone else. But still, even though you help someone else, you got educated.
Yeah.
And that's what it's about. There's no substitute for experience, whether it's on the good side or whether it's on the bad side. There is no substitute for experience. And the hardest thing you can do with a young kid is get them to realize sometimes you got to go through some rough times to get where you want to go.
Yes. Yeah. Baseball is a great teacher. It teaches you how to fail, and it teaches you how to learn from failure. And if you miss that part of baseball, then chances are you're probably not going to get anything out of baseball,
No.
because sometimes people think that baseball is about getting results and winning games, championships, getting a hit, winning the championship over the weekend. And those are all great results. That's what we all shoot for. But not all of us are going to be Hall of Famers. Not all of us are going to be major leaguers. But we can all learn from our mistakes. And if you're not learning from the failure that the game of baseball provides, then you're missing the boat. Because we can be really, really great men and be terrible baseball players and still be okay. So that's the
Yep.
key. Is kids today need to learn or need to hear this, that baseball is not just about results. We celebrate those and great, but we really, really learn from our mistakes and from our failures. And so parents, as you are coaching your kids and putting them in teams and leagues and stuff like that, look for learning opportunities. Don't expect championships and for your kid to hit 400 in high school and all that stuff. That stuff doesn't really matter in the long run. What really matters is your kid becoming a strong-minded man because he learned from his failures. And that's the key. That's the number one thing I try to express to kids and parents. It's all
And
about
there's a lot
learning.
of that in baseball.
Yes.
There is. There's a lot of ups and downs.
Yes.
A lot of them. Sometimes they last longer than you think you can handle it.
Yep.
But they got this old saying: the Lord never put anything on you that you can't handle.
Mm-hmm.
And as human beings, we can handle a lot.
Yes.
If your mind is in the right place and your heart is in the right place, your work ethic is in the right place, your belief in what's going on is in the right place, the result that you trying to run down, it may not happen tomorrow, it may not happen next week, but if you put in the time and do what it takes to be what it is that you are chasing, you finally stop chasing it.
That's right. That's right. All right, so let's shift gears here. Let's talk about some of your influences, some of the people that influenced you in your career, whether it's parents, coaches, friends, people you played with. Think back at some of the people that you know what, man, that guy taught me this. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, when I first started realizing what influence was, I was on the streets of New Orleans in the park, and there was a guy by the name of Al Noor. He was older than all of us, and he was an organizer. At least he tried to organize. I can look back on that now, but as a youngster, I thought there was a lot of chaos going on. But I tried to look through all that chaos and see what the good was. That's the one trait that I think I always had, even as a youngster. I could see what needs to be done in the situation that I'm involved in. I can see what has to be done. That's how I became a leader. I became a leader as a youngster because nobody wanted to take charge, and everybody worried about failure. Well, the one thing I always had on my side is I never concerned myself with failure. Because then, even as a 13, 14-year-old kid, I always looked at failure as education. I didn't look at failure as something, oh, I failed, that's the end of life for me. No, I failed. What am I going to do to correct that failure? Because I could. When we was youngsters, that was one thing we could do. And I already had that inside of me to understand, okay, I didn't get done what I wanted to get done. But guess what? We got to go at this again tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
I can't go at it the same way I went today. So what caused me to fail today, I got to use that to make sure I don't fail tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And then once I got it, I could pass it on to other people and continue to move forward.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it's about. You take it in daily and you see what you can do with what you had to deal with, how it's going to help you or how it's going to hurt you.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, what happens? We go back to choices.
Mm-hmm.
It's always go to choices. It's either right or it's wrong.
Yeah.
There's no in between, Hosey. It is right or it's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And when you break down and take it like that, now you begin to see exactly the path that you need to take.
Mm-hmm.
And as a youngster, you do have choices, man.
Yeah.
Sometimes as adults, we don't have those choices. Because as a child, as a youngster, you got mom and dad making all the decisions for you. You're not making your own decision. And then the time come when you become an adult, mom and dad done taught you through their decision making how to make decisions, how to make choices. And in the result of all of that, you begin to make the best choices for your path. You begin to make the best choices.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what it's about. And I had to do that as a youngster.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's say you got a young ball player and they had a terrible game. Oftentimes, I even saw this in the big leagues. They got a bad game, 0 for 4. Next day, they're in the cage trying to change their mechanics, trying to change all kinds of things. But what they really didn't adjust was their mindset. So how would you explain that to a youngster? Like, hey, listen, the majority of the time, the reason you fail is not because of your mechanics or your skill. Is chances are is something your thinking is probably wrong. So how do you talk to them about that stuff?
Relaxation. You
Mm-hmm.
got to be able to relax. You got to be able to understand why did what I was trying to do go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And if you ask yourself that question, not have somebody else answer that question for you.
Yes.
Ask yourself that question. Why did it go wrong?
Mm-hmm.
And then once you've asked that question to yourself, now your mind starts to get stimulated a little bit. Now you start to looking at the process that you went through and why there was failure.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're able to correct it. And you got to be able to correct it in real time.
Mm-hmm.
You can't correct it. You can't do something bad right now and you're going to wait till tomorrow to correct it. No, you got to learn how to correct things in real time.
Mm-hmm.
And in real time, when you try to correct things, is what I would tell a kid, there still might be some failure happening.
Mm-hmm.
But that's okay. You know what's happening? Your mind is stimulated and you're trying to do what you need to do to correct the issue that has things going in the wrong direction.
Mm-hmm.
Never wait for someone else to tell you what you have to do when you're the one that has to do it. Yeah, people can make suggestions.
Yeah.
And remember one thing about suggestions.
Mm-hmm.
When people make suggestions, if you use it, it's yours.
Mm-hmm.
You don't blame nobody for it.
Yep.
And that's the one thing that we have to help these kids understand in society today is someone tells them something
Mm-hmm.
and they decide to use it. And the first thing come out their mouth, well, Ron Washington told me this. No.
Yep.
Ron Washington did tell you that, but you decide to use it.
Mm-hmm.
And once you determine yourself that that's good for you, it becomes yours.
Yep.
And we have to make these kids take on ownership for the things that they decide on their own that they're going to do.
Yep.
And when they go up to that plate and they have a failure as far as in that bat goes, or they have a failure on the base paths, or they have a failure on the defensive side, you have to understand why.
Mm-hmm.
You have to ask why.
Yep.
And you have to ask yourself why. Then if you can't answer why, then you can ask somebody else. But first you have to become self-motivated. And self-motivation only gets you started.
Mm-hmm.
The habits you create is what keeps you going.
Yeah. Yeah. So, young kids, you have to be able to talk to yourself and ask why. What happened
Definitely.
in this situation? Why did I miss my pitch? Why did I boot that ball? And then if you still can't come up with answers, then perhaps maybe get some advice. But I think the best players always were self coached. They had good self talk. All the good players always, had an ability to evaluate themselves and realize why they made a mistake. And when they were stuck, they would ask for help accordingly. And even
But
then,
because I tried to evaluate it myself,
mm-hmm,
Hosey, and then I come to you and you give me the answer, I begin to understand
mm-hmm,
your answer better
yeah,
because I got an idea about what I'm talking about also.
mm-hmm,
I'm not coming to you blind. I'm not coming to you hoping that you give me the answer.
yeah,
I already got an idea with the answer. I need you to help me identify is it going in the right direction or if it's going in the wrong direction. Is my thought process correct or if my thought process is not correct? How far off am I with my thought process? You see what I'm saying?
yeah,
Because a lot of times they're close,
yeah,
but they give up. They give up because they're tired of the fight. Well, if you begin the fight, you got to finish the fight. And if you can't finish the fight, don't begin it.
mm-hmm, yeah. Well, and if you're playing sports, it's because you want to compete, and competition is some sort of a fight. It's a
That's
fight
right.
against you against that opponent.
And sometimes that opponent gonna be better than you.
Yeah, yeah.
On that day.
On that day, exactly.
Only on that day.
Yes, exactly.
Don't ever give that opponent credit for forever being better than you. He was better than me that day.
Mm-hmm.
So it's up to me to figure out why he was better than me that day. Because the next time I see him, I want to be better than him.
Yeah.
And if you don't ever take that defeat in and understand why, you'll never be able to correct it and return the favor of defeat that he put on you.
That's right. That's right. So kids, remember you have to develop your self-talk as well as your pitching, your hitting. You got to develop that ability to sit alone, evaluate your thoughts, think about what you're thinking about, come up with a plan, try to execute that plan. If you need help, then go get help. But if you don't develop that ability to self-talk and self-coach, it's going to be a rough go because baseball is very hard.
You're going to be left behind.
Yeah, because everyone else is doing it. All the good ones are doing it.
Everyone else is doing it.
Everybody else is having that same conversation with themselves, and the ones that get it right, they're going to pass you by.
That's right. And once you realize you're falling behind, believe it or not, you're being educated, but you're missing that education.
Yep.
Instead of letting that education sink in and enjoy it, no, you fighting it. You missing it because you too focused on the wrong thing when you should always be focused in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
There's always moments.
Mm-hmm.
So be focused in those moments. And then once you get in those moments and things don't go right, guess what? You'll be able to figure it out because you was focused in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
You're not worried about down the road and all the work you got to do right here before you can get down the road. You're already down the road.
Mm-hmm.
And you forgot all that work it take in between where you are and down the road.
Yep.
You just want to go on down the road. That don't work like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's right. That's right. So, all right. So let's think back at your playing career. What were some of the good and bad experiences that maybe made you the baseball man you are today? I don't know, a story or two or a player or something that happens like, this situation, this game, it changed the way I thought and it kind of took me in this direction. Just give me a little something about, some of your experiences that shaped you as a baseball man.
Well, the thing that really shaped me was in 1977 when I got my first call up to the big leagues. It was with the Dodgers. We had Dusty Baker, Reggie Smith, Davey Lopes, Ron Say, Steve Garvey, all those guys on the team. And I remember when I walked in the clubhouse, the last time I had seen any of those guys was in spring training. And I walked in the clubhouse, and the first thing came out of Reggie Smith's mouth was, okay, they called you guys up. It was myself, Jeff Leonard, and Raphael Landestor. We all was in Albuquerque and AAA together, and he called us all up at the same time. And we walked in the clubhouse, and the first thing Reggie said, without even introducing himself to us, find out who we were, he said, you guys are here to learn. You guys are here to take in the advice that's being given, which is learn, listen, and apply. 3 things. You're here to learn, listen, and apply. And I'm not going to forget this. I remember this vividly. You're not here to take money out of our pocket. See, in the big leagues at that time, it was about winning championships, especially the Dodgers. And they told us we was there to learn, listen, and apply. And one thing we're not here to do is take money out their pocket. And if we're not learning and we're not listening and we're not able to apply, guess what we're doing? Hurting the team. I understood that. And I said, this was my response. You don't know me, Reggie. I can play, so I'm not worried about what you're talking about. You know, being a smart mouth, you know what I'm saying? That was confidence. But they didn't care about that. And Raphael was the same way, and Jeff Leonard was the same way. We was some cocky dudes. You got to be cocky. You got to believe in what you're doing. And that was my main story when I first got to the big leagues. And from that point on, I never not believed that when I went between those lines, all the education I got from when I first got into pro ball till I got to the big leagues, I got what it takes to be in the big leagues. Because all that education I got, and I'm talking about education, and I'm talking about all the sessions that the coaches took us through, all those sessions, all the failures, all the successes. To me, they all was the same. It was an education. And that's exactly what made me who I am today and what made me the type of ball player that I was and the influences that I had. Through all the experiences that I went through, I never forgot them. Never forgot them. I did something in 1970. I was in 1980 still using it. When something happened, I'll get a flashback. I've been through that already. When I was in AA, I did that. You know what I'm saying? I'm just not going through things, and as I finish, I leave them. I'm going through things, and I'm constantly buttoning up my pockets, making sure that this knowledge I got is not leaving. I got it somewhere. It's in a closet, in a coat pocket. You know, it might sound like a joke, but I'm serious. That's the way the things was. And when something came up, wow, I've been through that already. When I was in A-ball, I did that. Or when I was in AAA, we did this. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm seeing now, I'm not surprised by it. I've already been through it. I failed at it, and I've been successful at it. So everything it takes to go through that, I've already been through it. And if these kids get into ball, anything, pro ball, and they find themselves in AA, bring your rookie ball, your A-ball experiences with you into AA. And then you find yourself leaving AA to go to AAA, bring your rookie ball, A-ball, AA experiences with you to AA. And that's how you keep improving. By bringing all the experiences that you go through with you wherever you are. And it's ongoing, Jose. It never stops. It's ongoing. And every day you can learn something different. Every day you can learn how to educate yourself, or every day someone is out there educating you, and they don't know they're educating you, but you realize it because I just heard something I didn't know about. I just heard something I do know about. You know, that's the way you question yourself.
Well, a couple of things I want to highlight on that, or what you just said. So, number one, and I remember this, you were always very confident, and you weren't afraid to tell people, you know, that you could do it, that you're confident. So for all the kids out there, you know, we all express confidence differently. You know, some people are vocal, some people are not. But if you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will. First of all,
And people can see that, Hosey.
yeah, and they can see that in
They
your
can see
body
that you don't
language.
have self-confidence,
Yes,
or they can see you got self-confidence.
yes. I
You can't
always
fool
You
people.
can't fool people. I since my son was very very small, I always pointed out, watch how kids walk on the field, how they carry themselves, and you can tell who's a ball player and who's not. Because the ball players, they have a swag, they have a strut, they have something about them um, that people know. I remember the first time I saw Kinsler. Um, we had it was I think we had a mini camp, and he walked on the field. I've never met him before, and I just watched him walk around. I was like, this kid is cocky, and there's something arrogant about him. I was like, I don't know, but I like it. It kind of gets on my nerves, but I like it. And ever since then, he and I have gotten along really well. I mean, to this day, we're still friends. But there was something about him that first day that I saw him that I was like, man, this guy is cocky and he believes in himself. And so, for all you guys out there, kids, parents, if your kid doesn't have confidence, you need to work on it, because if you don't believe in yourself, no one else will. Number one. Number two, if you give yourself to learning, every time you step on the field, you can learn something. You can learn something from something that someone does, or for something that someone doesn't do. One of the things I always pointed out to my son is like those pouty kids, they strike out and they run back to the dugout. I even taught my son how to strike out properly. You strike out, you walk back to the dugout, you put your stuff down, and start thinking about what you did wrong, as opposed to running to the dugout. No major league guys runs back to the dugout when they strike out. They just kind of walk back. They knew they struck out. Everybody saw it. There's no hiding. So you got to act the part. You got to act the fact that you're going to strike out. So why are you surprised? It happens in
And the
baseball.
key is what you said. You got to do it calmly.
Yeah.
And go sit down and think about what happened.
Yes. And
You're right. Instead of throwing your helmet, breaking your bat, going, knock the cooler down.
Yeah.
And then you sitting there frustrating, and you ain't thinking about nothing but yourself.
Exactly. And the longer you remain angry and upset, you're wasting time that you could be using to think about what you need to do best, or what you need to do next. So that's always been one of my things with kids, is like your body language, the way you carry yourself. It says a lot about you. But internally, you also have to believe in yourself. I know I can hit this guy. I know I can strike this guy out. I know I can steal a base. You gotta tell yourself that. And if you don't have that, you need to work on it, because it's gonna be hard to move up to the next level if you're not confident. So that's
it's gonna be hard not only to move up to the next level in the sport you playing, it's gonna be hard to continue to move up in life.
That's right. That's right. You don't get a good job by being meek and putting yourself down the way you talk about yourself. You should never talk bad about yourself. You should always be talking yourself up, because there's going to be plenty of people talking bad about you. So don't join them.
That's right. That's right.
So
and if there's something to be corrected, you understand I got to correct it.
Exactly.
It doesn't make you a failure. A failure is a person that just give up totally.
Yep.
Mainly failure is only in the moment that you fail.
That's right.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. It's only in the moment that you fail.
Yeah.
Because the moment that you fail, after you did it, you can do something about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Failure is situational. That doesn't make you a failure. You failed at that at bat. Okay, cool. But that doesn't mean I'm a bad hitter.
No.
I made an error. That doesn't mean I'm a bad fielder.
The guy that's throwing that rub up there might be better than you.
Yeah. Yeah.
In that moment right there that you just experienced.
Yeah. And as a hitter, even a bad pitcher can get you out, because if you swing at the wrong pitch in the wrong situation, you're gonna get yourself out.
That's
so
right.
Like there's so many things that can go wrong. But what you can't do is, turn yourself into a failure because you failed at one situation and you weren't able to calm yourself down to evaluate the situation so that you can correct it. If you can't do that, then it's gonna be hard to be a successful person. So, but that's done.
And I'm telling you what, Hosey, you talking life, and the kids that you are around that hear that, they getting the best advice, and the same advice they would get from a real experienced person, like we are, we
Yeah.
experienced, we done been through it.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about if they had to go through a psychiatrist or something like that, they will say the same thing.
Yeah.
They
Yep.
will say the same thing. They might say it different, but they will say the same thing.
Exactly. Exactly. Because successful people have strong beliefs. They believe in themselves and they never quit. And they just find ways to keep going. No matter how many times they fail, they find ways to get back up. So
That's right.
that's why I want to have these conversations with people that have been there, done that, because sometimes people don't believe that if I don't achieve a major league status that I can't do these things. No, you can be a successful person. It has nothing to do with baseball. You know,
No,
it's just
nothing.
has something to do. It has all to do with your mindset and the way you believe in yourself. So
I just think the people look at the hype of sports,
yeah,
and yes, it's very rewarding as far as if you're good at it financially, it is
yeah,
rewarding in that way. But it's also rewarding in how to deal with people.
yep,
It's also rewarding how to be a people's person.
mm-hmm.
It's also rewarding in how to share. It's also rewarding in how to get along with people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it creates a lot of life habits
Yep,
besides the act of just the sport itself.
yep. And one last thing I would say about confidence. Confident people, if they're really, really confident, they're coachable. Because if you're comfortable with yourself, you're able to receive information and evaluate that information and decide to use it or not use it. You don't have to be rude about it. One thing that I always loved about Adrian, I would always say, "Hey, Adrian, I got an idea for you," and he would say, "Okay, I'll try it. But if it doesn't work for me, I'm not going to do it." Hey, fair enough, man. But he knew that whatever I offered him could either help him or not, and he knew he was good enough with or without me. But he was willing to listen, and he would use it if he wanted to. And I was like, "All right, cool. No big deal."
But the
So
initial thing that Adrian did in that confrontation that you might have had with him was give you respect.
yes, he always did.
He gave you respect because he know you know what you're talking about. So before he diss it, he's gonna listen to it and see if it worked.
Mm-hmm.
But he did let you know from the beginning.
Yeah.
Posey, if this don't work, I'm sorry, bro.
Yeah.
I'm not using that.
Yeah, and I loved it. I mean, because he was very straight up, and I also knew that if he used it, it was going to help him. But I
Yeah.
knew he was good enough. He was good enough without me, so it was kind of a no brainer. It wasn't that much risk on my part because I knew he was.
But he was good enough,
Yeah.
like you say, he was good enough without you. But look of all the people that gave him that good enough that he was.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't always like that.
Yep.
He got that from somewheres.
Yep.
And that's what's continued education.
Yep.
And when you offered him something, you was offering him more education.
Exactly.
And he was smart enough to know to listen to what you got to say before I turn it down.
Yep.
And I'm more than certain that most of the time, Adrian took what you told him and ran with it.
Yeah. No. And that's why he was always a pleasure to work with, because he responded the right way and he used it when he needed to, and we worked well together just because he was coachable. And as good as he was,
and he was an
always
example.
Coachable. Yeah, and
he was an example of what professionality is.
Yeah, exactly.
He was an example what courtesy is. He was an example of a family that taught him right.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You see all of these type of things when you meet those kind of people.
Yep.
First thing come out your mind when you see him, you say, wow, he must be from a good family, the way he carry himself.
Mm-hmm.
The way he act, the things he does, his family taught him well.
Yep.
Or the people that influenced him are the people that he was around consistently.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Or he was around people that influenced him because you could see it in him.
Yep.
You could see the interaction. I mean, all of that comes into play.
Yeah.
You know, I know mom and dad done told a lot of their kids already, treat people the way you want to be treated. That's a true statement.
Mm-hmm.
Treat them the way you want to be treated. You give respect, guess what you do? You get respect.
You get respect. That's right.
You don't give respect, why would you expect respect?
Yep. Yep. And a lot of times in baseball, we get it twisted that because I'm good or I'm elite or I'm a good hitter or I make X amount of dollars that you should respect me. And that's further from the truth for me, at least for me. I respect people for the kind of people they are, the way they behave, the way they act, way more than their talent level. You know, that's sometimes that people get that twisted. You know, we respect them because they're skilled, no doubt. But as far as
Yeah.
I respect people for the man or person that they are more so than their skill. So, but
Yeah.
that's big for me. So, all right, let's shift to infield, man. Let's talk about infield. So nowadays, everywhere I go, all the fields are turf. It's turf. You get 10-year-old kids playing on turf, and it's they don't get to experience the rocks and the dirt and all that stuff that we did when we were kids. So let's talk about some of the things that you promote as an infield coach. Some of the things you really believe that make a good infielder, and maybe just get some tips on how to become a better infielder. If I'm a high school guy and I could, hey, Wash, I want to work on infield. What kind of things should I be looking at?
The number one thing is, what type of work ethic do you have? Are
Mm-hmm.
you willing to work? Because that's what it's going to take. Are you willing to do the maintenance? That's what it's going to take. Or are you willing to come out here every day and listen, learn, and apply? That's what it's going to take.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it takes time. It's not, unless you God gifted, that when you walk on the ball field, you already understand it.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of mental understanding you need to make yourself a good infielder.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, it all starts with the work. My main thing is your hands. I believe in your hands. That's why I come up with the drills, Jose, that I
Mm-hmm.
use.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned my drills from a guy by the name of Chico Fernandez when I was with the Dodgers.
Mm-hmm.
We used to do a lot of close-up drills. Not the way I do it, but we
Mm-hmm.
used to be on the field and used to do a lot of close-up things.
Mm-hmm.
And all I used to understand, all my mind used to understand and my body used to understand is him saying, feel what you're doing. Feel what you're doing. And if you do it close up, you can't help but feel what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what doing it right feels like. You know what doing it wrong feels like. And you got to understand both sides to create what they might call expertise at what you're doing. You got to experience both sides, the good and the bad. And I teach the good, and you automatically going to have some bad
Mm-hmm.
that we're going to have to correct
Mm-hmm.
unless you gifted. And the ones that are gifted, you don't too much have to teach them much.
Mm-hmm.
The ones that are not gifted, that's where the education come in. And I'm not talking about physical education. I'm talking about mental education.
Mm-hmm.
Behind the scene, there's more going on than just me hitting a ground ball and you catching a ground ball. Why you caught it that way, how your hands work, how your feet work, the different angles that you have to use out there. All of this comes into play. You look, when you got kids that are raw out there, Hosey, they play baseball east and west.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to play baseball east and west. You want to always create a downhill fashion
Mm-hmm.
with the way you play defense. And when you create that downhill fashion, you involving your feet, and you need your feet and you need your hands to be in sync to work with consistency.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they work with consistency. They work together.
Mm-hmm.
The type of drills I do when we on our knees working our hands, that's the same way when we get on our feet, we're going to use our feet. Wherever the feet go, the hands always precede.
Mm-hmm.
You always want the ball, eyes, and glove lined up, no matter whether you're going one hand to the right, whether you're going to the backhand, or whether you're using your hand straight ahead. Eyes, hand, and glove always line up. And these are the things that are said, and these are the things that are proven when we get down on the ground and start working defense.
Mm-hmm.
Again, you find guys that just hit ground balls.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm a very, very detailed guy
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to infield.
Yep.
We're going to get ground balls, but ground balls is the last thing we're going to get.
Yep.
First, we got to learn the technique of how to field a ground ball. There's a proper way to field a ground ball, There's an improper way to field a ground ball. There's a proper way to play pitch and catch. There's an improper way to play pitch and catch. And I'm going to tell you what, I watch a lot of high school and amateur baseball, and they do all that stuff improper.
Mm-hmm.
They don't teach the kids how to throw the ball right. They don't teach them how to play pitch and catch. You look out there watching them playing pitch and catch. They're running back and forth to receive the ball.
Mm-hmm.
They're never receiving the ball with comfort in the middle of their body. They're always playing outside their body. They're always jumping up for the ball. There's a lot of education in defense that are not being taught out there.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I teach the education of baseball first. I teach the education of defense first. Why you're doing this, the reason why this worked, the reason why that don't work, why this is consistent, why this is inconsistent. Now, once we get all that together, then Hosey, we can go to hitting the ground ball off the bat. Because now when I hit the ground ball off the bat, my education and my teaching, my screaming and hollering is over.
Yeah.
You got the idea of what you're supposed to do. Now we just going to do it. Instead of me hitting you ground balls, then I got to stop it. I got to educate you. Then I got to go back. I got to hit you ground balls. No, we do all education first. And then we start taking the ground balls. And that's the way I've always done it all the years that I've taught infield. Always.
Yeah.
Education first, and then we do the physical stuff second. Yeah. It's not physical first and then the education. That's backwards. So for any young kid out there, I'm just letting you know, understand your craft first, how your craft work and why it works that way. And then you can go out there and all people will see is you doing your craft. And all they will see you doing your craft is the proper and the right way. I don't do anything half. I don't do anything just to showboat. I don't do anything just to say we went out here and done something. If we gonna get on the field and work on something, you're gonna see us doing it correctly. I don't know how to do it any other way, and I don't teach it any other way. And I tell the teachers out there, if you get anything from me that I'm saying, understand, educate them first, and then teach them the physicality.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, I watched you for many years, and I mean, I knew, I mean, I always appreciated the work you did with the guys, because I could tell, I mean, there was a lot going on, even though it looked so simple from the outside looking in, but I knew that there was so much meat behind those drills and conversations. And and you see it on video and social media all the time, and people see it, and it's not the drill, it's the education that preceded that drill. Because doing a drill without understanding how the body works, how your feet work, how your hands work, if you don't understand any of that stuff, all you're doing is sweating. You might as well go do a workout, some other workout. You know,
that's it. That's it. You got it down, Hosey.
Yeah. So
that's exactly the way it is.
So for parents, coaches, anyone that's listening to this, obviously not everybody has the experience that Wash has, but if you can at least educate them, come up with a few things and explain why. If you can at least have a little session of helping them understand why they're doing what they're doing, then the rest of it is going to be just physical, and you just get your reps in. So if you cannot explain why, chances are you're probably missing the boat and you're not teaching these kids right. So for those of you, just at least give it a shot. Try to at least explain why. Not everybody has.
And you don't do it unless you're going to do it the proper and the correct way.
Exactly.
You really don't.
Yeah.
Like when I'm home in the wintertime, there's professionals that might call me and want to come and work out in New Orleans. My criteria is you don't show up in New Orleans unless you can be there for 7 days. If you can't be there for 7 days, don't come. I don't need your money and I don't need your time if you can't put in the time that I need to have from you.
Yep.
If you can't give me 7, don't come. You're not coming to New Orleans for 2 or 3 days and think that I can help you. I can't help you. I can only help you if you give me 7.
Yep.
And I want 7 because it's going to take me 3 to break the old habits you have. And then it's going to take me 4 to instill the good habits. And all of that time is going to take not only time on the field, but it's going to take time just sitting around talking shop. Talking shop.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to hear what you think.
Mm-hmm.
I want to hear what you feel, because I'm the expert.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to hear what's on your mind, what's inside of you, how you feel about what you come here to do. And I can't do that in 2 or 3 days.
Yep.
So if we can't do 7, you don't show up.
Yep.
Because money, I don't need money. I've been in the game long enough. I got a little money.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not chasing money. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not chasing money. Well, I'll give you this, I'll give you that. No, it's not about the money. It's about my time.
Mm-hmm.
It's about my reputation.
Yep.
And you're not going to destroy that by coming here for no 2 or 3 days. But if you come for 7 days, when you leave here, whatever comes out your mouth, it's going to be real and people going to see it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you come here for 2 or 3 days and then you go brag and you've been with Ron Washington, people going to say, that's what he teaching, because you ain't going to be able to done nothing.
Yep.
I need 7.
Yeah.
Because I got to educate you first.
Yep. Yep. So for everyone all the players, so if you want to get better, part of getting better, or the most important part of getting better, is the educational part, which means you have to sit, talk through things, concepts, ideas, understand before you hit the field. Getting better is not just about jumping in the cage and start doing things or jump on the field. You have to set some time aside to think about, what is the plan for today? Why am I doing these things? Do I understand the concepts that I'm going to get into? And if you can't take the time to do the educational mental part, chances are the physical is probably not going to take. So for those of you that are listening, and I want to get better, I'm getting coached, I'm getting lessons, whatever. That coach needs to be able to explain and give you a little bit of background, context, education about what you're getting into. Otherwise, you just putting in some sweat. So
to be honest with you, and I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, they're just stealing money.
All right. Well, yeah. That's part of the reason why I'm doing these podcasts too, is because I want to talk to real people that been there, done that, and they know what it's like. I mean, every time that, I guess people still associate me with the Rangers and all that stuff, and coaches would come up to me and say, "Oh yeah, I heard that the Rangers do this, and I heard that the Mets do that, and I heard that," and I roll my eyes. I'm like, no, they don't do that. They don't do any of that stuff. All you're doing is stealing money. All you're doing is stealing these kids' money.
That's it.
And I'm like,
and mom and dad,
they're eating it up.
They want to put their kids in the best situation for the education. They know about the situation.
Yeah.
But when they talk to real people about the situation, that as you said earlier, there's a lot goes on before the physicality part of it starts.
Yes.
I'm sorry, there is. And if you don't have the time to educate before you start it, then really all you're doing is you're stealing. You're stealing. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no.
I'm sorry.
I hear you. I agree with you. So, all right. So let's wrap this up. So I want to hear some of your couple of things. Funniest baseball player you ever coached?
That's a hard one, Jose.
Yeah, that's a hard one because he has some funny ones.
And it was a hard one because all the players that I coached, they know how serious I was about my baseball.
Yeah.
So they never did no crazy stuff, because they know it wasn't going to be funny to me.
Yeah. All right. Well, how about the most professional guys you ever had? The guys that just
the most professional guys I had guys like Michael Young. I had guys like Aiden Beltre. I had guys like Eric Chavez. I had guys like Jason Giambi. Mark Ellis. Miguel Tejada. These guys I'm talking about, they was 100% pure, serious about what they were doing. And they worked at it. They looked for all the education that they could get behind it. They just was They just was professionals.
Yeah.
And, you know, to be honest with you, I carried myself around them in the same manner.
Mm-hmm.
So the aura that was around us when we were together was the same all the time, because they acted a certain way and I acted a certain way. And our actions always were the same. Professional.
Yeah.
And like I said, I just never been around people that was not professional. I'm sorry. That's all I can say, Jose.
Yeah, no, I know. That one, I wanted to ask that because I'm like you. I hold certain few people in that high regard of professionals. The rest of them, I just worked with them, and I just worked there, you know. So like,
yeah,
there was very few people that really impressed me, and they still have a special place in my heart. You know, I love the game of baseball. I think it's the best teacher of life, the game of baseball, and there's some people that I got the privilege to work with over the 22 years that it was special, and I can tell my kids the stories and my friends the stories, and I got really special people and stories that I can share. That and that was always the big one for me, is like, who were the best guys, who were the most professional, and you name pretty much some of the ones that are my favorites. So,
well, I tell you what, I managed in Texas, and from 2009, 10, 11, that 3-year stretch right there, that group we had, Jose, was the most professional group that I've ever been around. They came to the ballpark every single day as one. It was in unison with what their work day was supposed to look like, and what their night when the game started was supposed to look like. It was in unison. For 3 straight years, we were in unison, 9, 10, and 11. And I'm telling you what, nobody got out of line, because if they got out of line, Beltray checked them. If they got out of line, Michael Young checked them. I mean, I had 2 leaders that was nonsense. And they led by the way they went about their business. They weren't very boisterous, but when they had to talk, believe me, they talked. But most of the time, they led by example. And if you needed to be corrected, they corrected you. That clubhouse was so in tune in 9, 10, and 11 till I swear it was like it was a script written. And that script that was written was real. And the fans in Texas in 9, 10, and 11, they lived it. Because I recognized that every day they couldn't wait to leave their houses to get to the ballpark to watch and see what that group was going to do that night during the ball game. Because I wasn't surprised, but the people were surprised every night to see the way they went about their business. Without let up. They did not take a day off. They did not take a pitch off. They did not take any time off. They came there for 3 straight years. I'm just saying it. That period right there was it. We had a run for about 5 or 6 years. But that 3-year period right there was about as good as it gets.
I totally agree. I still have a lot of relationships out of the guys from that years or those years. I really believe those teams put Texas on the map as far as being a powerhouse. That group is the group that turned Texas baseball around. And if it wasn't for that group, I don't think the Rangers would be the team that they are today, because that was their group that set the tone for Texas baseball and has created an atmosphere and expectation of winning since then. So, I mean, I was, you know, I loved working with you, and I loved being there those years. Those years were awesome. We have a lot of memories from those years. A lot of friends still, you know, tell me stories, and we talk about stories from those years. So I was very proud to be part of that group, because I had a great time. That was my
we not only did that,
baseball.
Jose, we help our families get better too.
Yes.
You know, the success we had was able to educate some of our kids. Was able to pay off mortgages. I mean, we was able to do a lot besides win.
No,
You know,
yeah, those years turned my life around. I'll say that. Yes, that's for sure.
yeah, it
So,
certainly turned minds around.
yeah. All right, man. Hey, thank you for your time, man. It's glad to catch up. Like I said,
Jose,
you're one of my favorites.
I hope I helped the situation.
Yeah, you
You
did.
know, well, thank you, and thank you for having me, and thank your group for having me, and God bless you, man.
Yeah, thank you, brother. Thank you. Good luck this year with the Giants. Say hello to my friend Ting. I know he's
I will.
I know he's grinding. I know Vitello a little bit. So and Q, those guys are my
Yeah.
boys. So
Okay,
I
I'll
wish him nothing
pass
but
it
the
on.
best. Yeah, let him know I said hello. So, hey, guys, this is Jose Vazquez with Baseball Strong. Thanks for listening. Check out some of the next few podcasts. I'm gonna have some really interesting baseball people because for me, baseball is the best teacher. So if you play baseball, give it a listen. Follow us on Eclipse Pain Network under Baseball Strong. Thanks for listening.